Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. The Alpha's Orphan Daughter. Episode 16. Chapter 131. Sayers' POV. I had already been informed that I was having twins by the doctor in my village, so I was prepared for the news. But I wanted it to be confirmed before I told Robert the wonderful news. I was ecstatic at hearing it. I had been alone for the last 21 years. I never thought that I would be blessed with having another child. I hadn't even considered it to be a possibility for me. Not until I accepted Robert as my mate. I knew that we could end up pregnant, and I was okay with it until Adria started trying to tear us apart. It was probably a good thing for him that I was pregnant. I leaned more toward forgiving him than dumping him because of the babies. I knew losing me would hurt him. I knew how much he loved me. I could tell that he did. He didn't hide his feelings for me at all. Unfortunately for him, I could also tell how much he felt for Adria. It was not love, more like what you felt for a sister. But I could also tell he didn't believe me when I told him she was not as innocent as he thought she was. As his mate, he should have given credence to my feelings. Yet he was willing to take her word over mine. That was the thing I couldn't get past. He would rather believe his friend over his mate. I couldn't figure out why until I sat in on Adria's interview. I knew that she had groomed him. He didn't even notice what she was doing at all. She went slowly and kept it to hand-holding and small things. She knew he didn't want her, but she was in it for the long game. She made him feel important and strong. She made him feel seen and respected. It was what he had always wanted. Her strengths were not in spells or potions. Her gift was being sensitive to others. She was not well trained, nor did she want to. She managed to get along in the world, making her way with others supporting her. She didn't have to work. She didn't have to do anything. She was able to give tips that earned her friends money, and they, in turn, gave her money for giving them the tip. She was doing very well for herself until the vampires found her. They had her cornered when Alexei and his team arrived to save her. Adria should have told them that Jana and Anika were not as innocent as they claimed. But she was safe inside the Black Adder pack. They could not get to her anymore, and she didn't worry about them again. That was the first tip-off that she was not a good witch. If she cared about anyone else in the pack, she would have told Robert so Alexei could have dealt with them. Instead, she left it alone, and it almost cost me my daughter. Her touching Robert in front of me when she knew we were mates was another big issue I had with her. The fact that she had prevented him from leaving her cottage by using her tears and creating drama was infuriating. Her going out and getting those potions to take my mate sealed it for me. By doing that, she had signed a death warrant for both herself and her friend. I would have also dealt with Lena for helping to run interference for her, but the vampires beat me to it. It may be water under the bridge now that they are all dead. But I am going to have to speak to Robert tonight, to make sure that he understands I won't be giving him a third chance. Things either work out between us this time, or they don't. But I won't be slapped in the face again like I was before. I was glad Alexei caught him so he didn't fall out of the chair. Dr. Gurin was still in the room and called to get a second bed brought into the room for him. I knew it wasn't about the babies. I could feel his joy at finding out that we were going to have twins. I could tell that he had not been taking care of himself properly. I was going to ensure he was okay after I got him home. Once the bed arrived, Alexei and Dr. Gurin helped him onto the bed, and the nurses quickly got him in for. I listened intently as Alexei spoke to Dr. Gurin. He hasn't been eating much. He eats maybe once a day but still keeps up with all his job duties. He is running himself into the ground. He's lost several pounds since the last incident that had him hospitalized. I don't think he had fully recovered when he came to the hospital to watch over his mate and his mother after the kidnapping. Brenna and I saw him enter the dining room to get food earlier. He wouldn't have had time to eat between when we left and when he arrived. Someone probably told him Mom was here, so he hurried over to see if she was okay. I agree with Alexei, Robert has been sick with guilt over what happened. It is taking a toll on him as his sleeping and eating habits are rubbish, Kara announced. I was very concerned about him as he was still out. I could tell that he had lost weight. I could tell that he was not doing well. I could feel how upset he had been through our bond. I had blocked his pain because I was in more pain than he was. It was pushing me over the edge to feel both his pain as well as mine. He was the one who kept allowing Adra to interfere in our relationship. She was increasingly frustrating me. Calling Robert at all hours of the day to ask for help. She might have annoyed me, but I never wanted him to suffer. I love him, and I wanted to be with him. I just couldn't let him think that he can do this again. He might do it again if he doesn't find out there will be no other chance for him. If there are no consequences, then why would the behavior not change? I know he didn't cheat. But I still felt the betrayal pains when Adra did what she did. It hurt and brought back some of the worst memories I had. I have to remind myself over and over again that Robert is not James. I could see how worried Alexei and Kara were about him. I could sense in Kara that she cared for him a great deal. In fact, she had been willing to bring him to me to settle the issue between us. I was glad that I had some time to think things through. I had missed him every day. I wanted to be with him. I wanted things to go back to how they were before. These last 5 days, I have suffered more and more each day before realizing that I needed him. I knew that this feeling would never go away. I would ache for him until I returned to him. So, I came home. It is almost funny to me calling a wolf pack home. I never thought that would happen again. I honestly thought I would live the rest of my days alone. I had sensed the connection between us, but he was so young, I was leery of that. I never thought that the moon goddess would put me together with Robert. I mean, he is handsome. I noticed him after I arrived, but I never thought to take any action with him. I was content with my life and how it was. I didn't think I needed anything besides my daughter and potential grandchildren. My attention was focused on Alexei as he started trying to heal him. I could sense his worry for him. Once he was done, he turned to me and asked, "Can you sit by him? That should help him heal faster." I nodded and got out of bed to take the chair next to Robert's bed. "You can share his bed," say Iris. "Get as close as you can to him." I believe that his blood sugar dropped from his lack of eating. Alexei just healed him, and Kira will heal him once she arrives. Robert's parents are on their way here right now, Dr. Gurin suggested. I was willing to do whatever was needed to help him get better. He scared me pretty bad when he passed out. I felt better when I lay down next to him, on the side that didn't have the four. I snuggled into his chest and stared at his handsome face. I hoped that at least one of our babies looked exactly like him. Just knowing that he was mine made my heart flutter. He was much more handsome than James. I had to stop myself from reaching out to touch his face. We were not alone in the room. Dr. Gurin was watching the monitor with Robert's vitals on it closely. 2 minutes later, he announced, "You don't need me anymore. Everything looks good. Robert needs to go home and rest. Once his eating and sleep schedules are corrected, he will be fine. Say Iris, I will see you in 2 weeks for your next appointment. Kara, I will go check on your blood work." Dr. Gurin nodded at us before exiting the room. A short time later, Cheryl and Anton entered the room, followed by Black and Kira. Cheryl immediately went to Robert and stroked his hair while she spoke to him. Kira added her healing to Alexei's, which resulted in him waking up. He was confused and disoriented. Once he realized that I was lying in bed next to him, he pulled me closer to him, sniffing my neck and hair before relaxing slightly. "Don't scare me like that again," Cheryl pushed on his shoulder. I could see the tears in her eyes as she looked down at him. I don't know what happened. I was happy. I felt like I needed to sit down, and the next thing I knew, I was out. Robert told her. Cheryl looked questioningly at me before asking, "You were happy? Is it because Say Iris is giving you another chance?" "Yes, plus the fact that we are having twins," Robert told her proudly and squeezed me even closer to him. The room erupted into cries of joy and congratulations from both sets of parents. They were thrilled to hear the news and were very excited for us. "You are fortunate, Robert. You will never be happier with anyone than you will be with your mate. I can promise you that," Cheryl told him seriously. "I know, Mom, I won't mess up again. I've learned my lesson with what just happened. I won't be giving Say Iris or my pups up for any reason," I replied. Kara's POV: I was glad that my mom and Robert were finally back together. I was so excited about my mom being pregnant with twins that I had forgotten about the blood test I took until Dr. Gin came back into the room and headed straight for Alexei and me. I was suddenly nervous as I gripped Alexei's arm. I wanted to give him a child, but I was anxious that I wasn't pregnant. I didn't want him to be disappointed. I also didn't want to waste his time coming here to be with me for no reason. "Alexei, I am pleased to announce that Kara is pregnant. Kara, I hope you will allow me to document your pregnancy as well, as it will differ from your mother's. You both are descendants of the Earth Mother. So, your pregnancies will run faster than a regular pregnancy. The babies you carry drain your powers, as some of your power gets transferred to your baby. Because of that fact, the Earth Mother ensures they go by as quickly as possible. You will both need to take more rest as your pregnancies progress. How much quicker the pregnancies will go remains to be seen. Say Iris's pregnancy will probably run shorter than anticipated, as Robert is from an alpha bloodline. Multiples usually come early is another factor," Dr. Gurin announced to the room. I sat down in the chair again, a little lightheaded. I was happy to be pregnant with Brenna and my mother. I knew it was odd, but I felt like my siblings would grow up to be best friends with my baby and Brenna's. I have questions, but my mind is racing. I am happy, but I am a little concerned. Dr. Gurin, since Alexei is from a royal line, will that matter for our baby? Will it shorten the amount of time that I am pregnant? I asked. Anton is from the same royal line, but Cheryl was not as strong as you are. Cheryl was a Gamma-born, and she got pregnant while still a she-wolf. The twins took longer to arrive, but they are special in that they have both wolf and vampire gifts. I am still documenting their progress twice a year to ensure I don't miss anything. We still do not know their full potential. I also mentioned your pregnancy being a drain to your powers. I mentioned it to say Ayers, but you both need to be more careful while pregnant. In case of an attack, you will not be able to use a great deal of power like you normally would. The drain on you with using your powers could potentially cause you to pass out, thus leaving you defenseless. Alexei, you and Robert need to make sure that they have someone with them when you have to be away from them, Dr. Gurin advised. We will come up with something, Dr. Gurin. I know that Jackson was also worried about me being left alone. I had been thinking it was just because of the kidnapping. But I know that Jackson is concerned about our pup, too. Maybe we can have someone assigned to be with us as security while our mates are working, Brenna suggested. That would be a good idea, Luna, Dr. Gurin replied. I will also have one of my people there as a second pair of eyes. Can't hurt to have added protection when I can't be with her, Alexei interjected. I think Jackson would appreciate your doing that, Brenna nodded in agreement. I think we could just stay in our home, it is spelled so that it would be safe, my mother added, and I nodded in agreement. We could do that, but doesn't it feel like it's a little too much? I said slowly. I felt like we could still take care of ourselves. We could stay in our home and get even closer than we already were without an escort listening in on our conversation. It would also be a little embarrassing for us to need an escort. I hated for people to keep thinking that I was still weak. I had to deal with that for so many years at Kamaria, and I honestly didn't want to do it again. I would much rather stay home with Mom, practice magic, and learn some new spells. I think you three should come to our home. It is one of the safest places in the pack. Anton works from home, and he is on the team. So all we need would be one more person. Not to brag, but I am an excellent fighter. We could cover you very well until the babies arrive. It would be my pleasure to get to know everyone better. Plus, you can practice with children by chasing our two youngest around, Cheryl volunteered, and Anton immediately agreed. That is a great idea, it works for me. I would enjoy getting to know you better, too, my mother answered. Robert smiled at his mother and his mate spending more time together. Cheryl acknowledged and accepted my mother as basically being her daughter-in-law. Even though my mother was 3 times as old as Cheryl. Cheryl was still her mate's mother. I was okay with this suggestion. I had heard from Raven how Cheryl had stood up for my mother to Robert. They had both stood up for my mother, and I appreciated them doing that. I heard this right after the kidnapping, and not very many pack members knew about what had happened. Adra was playing the part of an innocent victim in all this, and some pack members believed her. She had been the one to speak first about what happened, giving her own version of the facts. She lied about everything. My mother didn't try to argue with her. There was no need. My mother was Roberts's mate, but that fact was not well known. Adra had failed to mention that when she spoke lies about my mother. Their opinions swiftly changed once they knew that Robert and my mother were mates. They knew that the moon goddess had put them together. They realized that however unconventional the pairing was, the goddess still blessed their bond. This change of opinion had happened while my mother was still out of the pack. She may not be aware of the change in their attitudes just yet, but I am sure she will notice it soon. Lena and Adra had spent a lot of time going around the pack bad-mouthing Brenna, my mother, and me to the pack. That is actually what made me notice it. I wasn't getting side eyes anymore. Pack members were greeting me instead of avoiding me. It was a welcome surprise. I had been a little concerned as I knew Mom was pregnant. I didn't want her stressed out by another pack member trying to confront her about Robert. I had been given more respect lately, which was a welcome surprise as I was not a part of the pack yet. I agree with that suggestion as well. I would feel better with them staying with you and Anton. Your home is very secure, so it is perfect. Plus, I could get to Kara quickly in case of emergency, as your home is near the coven, Alexei agreed. I mind-linked Jackson. He likes the idea. He said to tell all of you congratulations. He is pleased that our pup will already have so many playmates, Brenna remarked. I am happy about that as well. I can't wait for our sister to get pregnant, too. I would love for our children to be more like siblings than cousins, I shared. My fondest wish was that one day, my sisters and I would all have children who loved one another like we loved each other. I rubbed my stomach and wondered if I would have a baby boy or girl. Alexei was watching me and bent down to place his hand over mine. I was not expecting this so soon, Kara. But I have to say that I am thrilled to hear that we will have a baby. I hope we have a baby girl who looks exactly like you. I know you would rather stay home and spend time with your mother. But it will be good to get to know Cheryl and Anton better. I won't worry about you and can focus on my work, as I know that Anton will protect you all with his life. You tend to stay to yourself or with your sisters, but I assure you that Blackadder is not like Kamaria. This is a good pack with an eclectic mixture of species in it. They welcome anyone who needs shelter here, well, anyone who isn't here to cause problems. I hope you can get out there and meet new people, Alexei declared. If everything is so great here, why do we need babysitters? I asked. He was right. I wouldn't say I liked getting out much. I preferred staying with my sisters and the few friends I have made here. I knew I sounded like a petulant child, but I had learned that some people couldn't be trusted. Look at what had just happened to us. It was hard to change up and start trusting people again. I hadn't instantly trusted him. It took a while, even with a bond between us. I trusted very few people. I know that doesn't sound good, but it was the truth. This pack is much better than Kamaria, but I don't want to lower my guard. Because everything is not settled yet, Kara. The council is still holding Lisa and Emily. Paxton is still a wild card, and we no longer know where Clay is. Paxton still doesn't have his mate yet. Paxton was just given his watch monitor. They might be able to track him now, but we can't. I won't allow anyone to get their hands on you again, especially with you being pregnant. I am still trying to get past the fact that he took you while you were pregnant. I don't know how Jackson managed not to kill Rex. It is good that I just found out, or I would have probably killed him that day, Alexei told me. I wasn't happy about it, but he was right. Everything is not settled yet. I will do what I must so we will be safe. I felt fear curl up in my stomach at the mention of Paxton and Clay. I wouldn't say I liked either of them, but Paxton was a better person than Clay was. The fact that Clay was in the wind didn't sit well with me. He had nowhere to go now. He had been demoted, which was a shame he had to bear now. No one will want him to work as beta in their pack, as he couldn't even make it a month in that position. I knew he was going to be angry. He would want to work out his frustration one way or another. I felt terrible at not accepting what was best for us immediately after hearing what Alexei said. I was being childish, and I was past it now. It was for our safety. My mother and sister were important to me. I didn't want them to get hurt. I can still practice doing magic at Cheryl and Anton's. I did like being around their children. I was just jealous that my mother would not focus solely on me. Our time together was mainly spent training, not sitting down and having a heart-to-heart talk. I just needed to calm down and learn to share. This wouldn't be so bad. Clay's POV 1 month later. I have been making serious plans and carrying them out for the last month. I had only returned to my old pack for a week when my brother, the beta there, forced me to leave. He has always been jealous of me, and I know he was worried I would be taking his spot as beta away from him. That was the real reason they made me leave. That about being too rough with one of the she-wolves was a complete lie. She wanted to sleep with me. She was the one who had come on to me. We are wolves, and I can be a little rough. She didn't have to cry to the alpha about what happened, blowing it out of proportion. My punishment was banishment after I reminded her of her place. She wasn't beautiful. She was barely passable, so I told her she was lucky to have been with me. She should have been grateful to me for being willing to even have sex with her, to begin with. After I left the pack, I found a few friends on the road. 4 rogues who, like me, had been banished from their pack for stupid. We were all angry about the hand we had been dealt. So, one at a time, we started dealing with the people who had ruined our lives. With so few of us, we could slip in and out of packs unnoticed. They didn't smell like rogues yet, and our staying together helped to slow down the progression of our turning into rogues. We had formed a tiny pack, and we trained hard. They had all been warriors in their former packs and deferred to me as the unofficial leader of our group. None of us had known anyone else before we met. Yet we made a strong team. We would make up a plan of attack, based on whose turn it was for us to punish, like when we returned to my pack. I dealt with my brother and his alpha. I didn't kill them like I originally wanted to, but we did some damage. The problem was that my father recognized me. The look of utter disappointment on his face was hard to see. I was initially only going after the alpha. He was the one who banished me, so he was the one who deserved the payback. Except my stupid brother raced in to protect him when he saw me attack. My team didn't know who he was, so the 2 with me attacked when he rushed in. They didn't stop until I called them off. That was how we did all our jobs, which worked well for us. We were a very efficient team. With the detailed drawings of the pack, and location of who we were after, we were usually in and out in less than 15 minutes. We had to avoid patrols and being caught by a random pack member, doing all that had slowed us down. We didn't get caught, and we had hit all of my new friends' packs first. Even as the unofficial leader, I needed to know I could trust them, so I waited to reveal my second request. They felt more loyal to me with each passing day, as I dealt with all their issues first. I hated that I had been recognized, especially by my father, but there was nothing we could do about it. They didn't know where we lived to be able to arrest us. We found a cabin in the woods and took it over. When the owner returned from town, we dealt with him. There were only 3 rooms, but 2 of them had twin beds set up in there. Although my men were big guys and barely fit on the bed, everyone was still happy with the current situation. I must admit that not following so many stupid pack rules was great. With my alpha and my brother still in the pack hospital 3 days later, I knew that they were both hurt pretty badly. I am sure that they were actively looking for us. My father and the council will not be letting this pass. They are probably putting all the random attacks together by now and realizing we had a hit list. I am saving the best for last. Paxton and Rex were already being punished for their part in our plan. I heard rumors that Paxton is on house arrest for the next 5 months. He can't leave his pack, even though he knows he has a mate in the Greystone pack. I would have loved to kill Rex and Paxton. I might get around to them one day, but I knew who I would be going after. Kara and her mother need to die. Those witches deserve to suffer for bringing the council to Kamaria. None of this would have happened if they hadn't blown this all out of proportion. Those 2 Pishas ended up causing me to lose my beta title, my home, and the she-wolf I always wanted. I have nothing left to lose, so I might as well get a little revenge time to test the waters. I need to see if my fellow rogues will do one last job with me before we get out of here. I am sure Jackson will still be on high alert at Blackadder. I have heard a rumor that his wife is pregnant. He won't be allowing anyone to get near his mate. When I walked into the living area, everyone went quiet. Tom asked, "What do you need us to do, boss?" Tom is the oldest member of our group at 30 years old. He never told us why he was a rogue, and we never asked. Plus, we all knew that no matter what one of us said, we should take it with a grain of salt. Tom had black hair and dark brown eyes. His eyes never reveal anything. They are just like a shark's dead eyes. I wanted to ask for help with one last job before we leave here, I answered. What and where? Paul asked, cutting right to the chase. Paul was the second oldest in the group at 28 years old. He is also the one who enjoys killing. He is the one who does the most damage on our little visits and has the highest count in the group. He has dark brown hair and brown eyes, with a scar that runs from his eyebrow down his face. He killed his older brother to take the Gamma position. He was banished when he was discovered as the killer. His father begged his alpha not to kill Paul. He couldn't bear to lose both of his children. The other 2 members of our group didn't speak, they just listened to our conversation. We always discussed what we would do and hammered out the details. We discussed every possible outcome to figure out exactly how to go about it and not get caught. The only problem with this job is that we would be blind going in to get it done. None of us has ever been inside Blackadder. We all knew about the pack we were entering from the member who had lived there. We had a detailed plan and got in and out quickly. We are going there to kill 2 witches in the Black Adder pack, I replied calmly. I didn't want them to be worried, but I knew it was a big thing for me to ask of them. They had already helped me get the Alpha and my brother back. I already had my turn, as had they. This wasn't fair of me to ask, but I wanted to finish this. Plus, hurting Kara will also hurt Paxton. If I can get Brenna back, Rex will also feel guilty about that. They will know I did it to punish them, but I will be in the wind before they can try to find me. That got their attention, and everyone sat up straighter and became much more interested in this job. Killing witches? Tom asked with interest. It's pretty hard to kill witches, Clay. I should have asked what and why, as this job will be very dangerous, Paul replied with his eyes narrowed as he watched me. Clay, we haven't done anything like this before. It was always getting revenge on the ones who banished or wronged us. I don't want to have an issue with a witch. I have never killed one before, George stated. I am glad that they were at least considering it. I halfway expected to be shot down right after I mentioned what I wanted to do. It seems like they are allowing me to explain myself to them. I hope that they will understand why I need to do this. It isn't just to get them back, but to get back all those in Blackadder and Kamaria. I explained things to them quietly, purposely excluding the vampires there. I will mention that to them later after they are committed to my plan. I changed a few things to make myself look more like the injured party in this. I knew I was the one at fault, but I'll be damned if I don't take this opportunity to get my revenge. I twisted everything around. That Kara had hit on me and got me in trouble in Kamaria with her father. That Paxton was the one who devised the plan, and I was Alpha commanded to follow it out. House Ayers was the one who attacked me, breaking my bones and threatening me when I did nothing wrong. By the time I was done with my story, I felt bad for myself, too. I am in. I didn't know you went through all that, Clay. I will be happy to help you, Paul said. Paul spoke first for the group. Tom nodded in agreement with him, and the others followed in line behind them. Okay, it is settled. We will come up with a plan, and we will get it done. We need to wait a week or 2 before we go in there. I want to check things out in there first. I will assemble a list and see what we need to do this. Thanks for the help. I didn't want to let them get away with making me lose everything without them getting at least a taste of it, too, I responded. By the time I got done, they were all appalled at what had happened to me. They couldn't believe that I had been treated like that. They were ready to step up and defend me as their leader and were all on board. We planned on leaving here after we punished all who had done us wrong. We would find a home in Los Angeles and work together to form a security company. We were okay with taking any job, even ones with an iffy outcome. That was the best way to get the money to roll in, and we needed to make money badly. I was running through my savings quickly, as none of them had any money. We didn't mind killing someone to make sure we had a roof over our heads. I was planning on getting us another home there. One just like we had found here. We should be good for a while before anyone suspects anything if we do our recon correctly. I was thrilled that I could get a shot at killing Kara and her mother. It would be my pleasure to pay back that loudmouth, Robert, and Alpha Jackson. They will be sorry for messing with me. Jackson's POV. I received a mind link from one of the gate guards advising that 2 members of the Werewolf Council were there. I had no idea why they came here, but I told the guard to allow them access. It was a little after 2 in the afternoon when they arrived, but I am still a little annoyed at how they handled Paxton. I wanted him to get a much tougher punishment than he got. Wearing a specially made watch that tracked his movements for the next 10 years wasn't punishment enough for me. Everyone in California knew what he had done. Well, not the humans. But the werewolf community all knew, and that was a shameful punishment. The watch was quite impressive, as he could go from human to wolf form and still fit. They were spelled, and each lasted for a year, getting changed out every year until his sentence was complete. He tried to take my mate away from me. Correction, he did take my mate away from me. The only reason that I didn't try to kill him myself was because Kara told me that he had protected her and her sisters from the other men. It didn't make up for his actions, but we both acknowledged that things could have been much worse. I am not forgiving him. He still planned to abduct and assault my mate. The fact that he was only half successful in his endeavors didn't make him innocent. I mind-linked my betas, Chase and Blaine, to come to my office for this meeting. The council members hadn't informed me that they would be coming here. Honestly, I'm not too fond of spur-of-the-moment visits. I like to be prepared, and this little drop was not making me happy. I can feel that this was not going to be a happy visit. I hope they don't expect me to be welcoming towards them. It hasn't been that long since they were here, and they allowed that intern to be rude to my mate and her sisters. She better not be with them on this visit. My father, who was Alpha before me, had worked with the last group of council members before they retired. He said that the latest group is not as competent as the previous council members, which happens. It seemed like Councilman Glenn Floyd was a better man than Councilman Gary Sharp was. I might be partial about it because Councilman Sharp's daughter had come in here like she owned the place. She had no compassion or empathy for the sisters trying to get to safety. She believed everything Paxton told her like the information had come from the goddess herself. A short time later, a knock sounded at my door, and council members Floyd and Sharp entered my office. They were not their usual selves, which concerns me. They are acting guilty, and that was an immediate red flag. They were looking at each other and mind-linking. They didn't speak, so I spoke to them after another minute of silence. Tell me why you came here unannounced, or you can both leave, I demanded. We have an issue, and we believe that someone here, or at Black Moon, may be in danger, Councilman Floyd answered. Have a seat, and tell me what is going on, I said, motioning to the 2 seats in front of my desk. 2 sofas face each other in the back of my office. Chase and Blaine were already seated, facing each other, one on each sofa. They both sat up at the councilman mentioning an issue for our pack. The council doesn't use those words loosely, so I knew that there was indeed a problem. I waited for them to speak again, as I could tell they were anxious about how to say what it was that they wanted to tell me. I don't know if you have heard about this, but it was included in our monthly email. We have had several packs attacked randomly in a little over a month. It is always a small group of wolves breaking into specific packs. They are always in and out quickly, killing 1 or 2 with each attack. A total of 6 pack members have been killed at this point, with 2 having been severely injured at the last attack at the Moon Harvest pack, Councilman Sharp told us. I saw the email, but it wasn't very informative. There was little to no information about who it might be, I replied. Councilman Floyd sighed and said, the attacks started at the Grey Sky pack, with 2 killed. We believe that a former pack member, Henry, was involved. Henry had worked for the accountant of the pack. He was found to have been stealing during an unexpected audit. He was banished from the pack after they determined he had siphoned off about 800,000. They got the money transferred back, and he was banished, penniless. The accountant he worked for and the beta who asked for the surprise audit were the ones targeted, and killed, in that attack. The second attack happened at the Morning Shade pack. The new Gamma had been attacked and killed a few months after he took over from his father. After the investigation, it was found that his younger brother had killed him to inherit the Gamma position. The former Gamma begged for the Alpha not to kill the son who had murdered his brother. He couldn't bear to lose both of his children. They banished him. His name is Paul, and we believe he is a member of this rogue group, along with Henry, Councilman Sharp advised. The third attack was at the Dark Rock pack. The Luna there was killed in that attack. One of the young warriors had been found in bed with her. He was beaten and then banished from the pack. The Luna had told her husband that she had been assaulted, but the warrior, George, maintained that she had been the one that had come onto him. During the investigation, we found a few more warriors in the pack who had admitted to us that she had slept with them as well. Unfortunately for him, the Alpha chose to make an example out of George. The Luna was the only one killed in the attack, Councilman Floyd advised. The fourth attack was at the White Plains pack, and 2 pack members were killed. The former Gamma and Delta were found murdered. They had just stepped down 2 weeks previously. Well, actually, they had been forced to step down. A complaint had been filed 3 months ago. A complaint which alleged that one of the pack members, a newly widowed she-wolf, had been assaulted. It was a serious accusation, but due to the rank of the charged men, the she-wolf was facing a great deal of persecution for her claims. She ended her life from the lies and rumors being spread about her. We were investigating and still collecting the evidence when we found out that she had died. The issue is that once the victim dies, no matter the reason, the case is just noted into the system and dropped. Her brother was the head trainer there. She was the last member of his family. He left the pack, saying, the goddess would punish the guilty. We believe that her brother, Tom, is the 4th member of the group of rogues. The room was silent for a minute because of all the stories we had just heard. The last one was the most horrifying one of all. I already knew they dragged their feet about the investigation, they didn't have to admit it. There was no need for the inquiry to take 2 months in which she caught hell every day. I am sure that she was already weak from losing her mate. I can't imagine the pain she went through. I felt terrible for her and was reminded that this council was utterly lacking from the previous one. Who was spearheading the investigation? I asked. I wanted to know if they would get into trouble for what they had done. The length of time it took was completely ridiculous. That shouldn't have happened. Councilman Floyd coughed and quietly said, my daughter, Michaela. I looked at them stunned before finally saying, "So right before you sent her here to my pack, she had already messed up. Then she comes here, accusing the victims of wrongdoing instead of the perpetrators. I have to assume she did the same thing there. I want to request that she be investigated and brought up on charges. She dropped the ball and was responsible for the death of an innocent pack member. She no longer needs to be employed by the council. I am going to be making a formal complaint about this. I am not trying to piss you off, Councilman Sharp, but what happened at the White Plains pack is inexcusable. I have seen her at work myself. She doesn't need to have a high-ranked job. She should have done her job, yet it seems she decides who is innocent and guilty before getting all her facts straight. What's done is done, young Alpha. We can't bring her back. There is no reason to persecute Michaela while she was learning how to do her job, Councilman Sharp said. No, Councilman. Mistakes need to be corrected, believe me, she made numerous mistakes while here in my pack. We can't bring this woman back to life, but we can prove who was at fault. They are all thinking terrible things about her that need to be corrected. Her name needs to be cleared, and the pack needs to improve. Not sweep it under the rug. That solves nothing and shows that as long as you have a rank, you can do what you want, and that is incorrect, I told them. We are getting off track with this, Alpha Jackson. We must move on to why we came here, Councilman Sharp replied coldly. Which is? I responded with the same coldness in my voice. If he thinks this is over, he could not be more wrong. His daughter is not worthy enough to work for the council. She is not impartial enough to do the job, and from seeing how annoyed her father is right now, I think he is the same way. I will not stop until I can get him off the High Council. The fifth attack was made at the Moon Harvest Pack. It was there that we finally got some information on what was happening. The Alpha was being attacked, and the Beta rushed in to help him. Both of them were seriously injured, but they survived. They are both still in the hospital, but they were saved due to the quick thinking of the Beta. He mind-linked his father, who showed up with several warriors to help. It was then that they realized that Clay Shepherd was the assumed leader of these rogues. His own father identified him. That is why we are here. This morning, someone called us anonymously to tell us that the rogues would be attacking Blackadder soon. The witch said Blackadder are going to be killed was the message they left, Councilman Floyd replied. Now, that was a problem. Jackson's POV. I glanced at Chase, and he nodded in understanding before his eyes glazed over. Blaine had picked up his phone and quietly made a call. I knew that they were doing this at the same time, so both Robert and Alexei could be here so we could finish this discussion. I would not waste time by having to go over this twice. I wanted to have the council gone as soon as possible. I wanted to ask about my mate being a potential target. I knew what a piece of crap Clay was, but I forced myself to wait. I knew that Robert and Alexei would be here very soon. I was already angry that the councilman had not reined his daughter in. I was annoyed, but I didn't show it. I would not warn them about what I was planning to do. I would go over their head and straight to our highest court with this. I wouldn't let Councilman Sharp protect his daughter from the punishment she deserved. Who knows how many people she has hurt by making decisions based on what others had said to her, instead of following the evidence and our laws. I won't let her hurt anyone else again. You can see why we needed to take this as a credible threat, so we came here to warn you. Clay wants to finish whatever he started at Kamaria. We also warned Alpha Kevin at Black Moon. We had intel that Clay had wanted Luna as his chosen mate. He may still have designs to attempt to retake her. So he might attack them next, or you. We do not know, but we dispatched another council member to notify Kevin of the potential attack and threat against his Luna. We want everyone to be on the same page with this, Councilman Sharp smoothly stated. He acted like he was doing us a favor. He was not, this was their job. A job they got paid a great deal to do. It seemed like he wanted to get a gold star for coming here today. Like they wanted to be congratulated for coming here to warn us. It is impossible that they thought Clay and his rogues could waltz into my pack and get away with anything. They couldn't, not without us knowing about it. I guess they don't realize just how strong we are or how secure our pack is. It hits me hard that they honestly think we don't have a strong security system here. They believe it was somehow our fault because our mates were taken from here. I had to resist getting up and punching Councilman Sharp in the face. His smug smile was getting on my nerves. It wouldn't have happened if one of my pack members had not been involved in this. She was the reason that they had been successful. She involved vampires to get them over the wall quickly. We almost caught them. We would have stopped them if we had just been a minute sooner. I am going to allow him to think whatever he wants to. I will not correct him. I am already considering a replacement for him on the council. He won't see that coming. Clay and his group of rogues won't expect us to be ready for them when they come here. I already plan on calling Kevin and having him bring Luna here. He and she can stay at Cheryl and Anton's home for the next few days until we deal with the threat. The guys have about a 5-day turnaround for each attack. The problem is, they don't have any intel for my pack. The other packs that were attacked were much easier for them to get in and out of. They had information on where the target would be. They also knew the general layout of the pack. I am sure the person who had been wronged in each pack was the main one to lead the charge in and out of their pack. But none of these men had ever come to my pack. They had no idea where the women would be, and I was already thinking of how to deal with them. This would be their final attack, as I would ensure that their little reign of terror ended here. The only one I might spare was going to be Tom. I am pretty sure that he was the one who called in the warning. Who else would have that kind of information? It had to be a member of their group, and as long as he hadn't killed an innocent person, I would give him a chance to live here. After Anton reads his thoughts, ensuring he won't harm anyone here. Hang on just a minute, Councilman Sharp. Their mates are coming, and I want to discuss this with them. It will save us all the time and not have to go over it twice. The only thing that I want to say right now is that if they do happen to come onto my pack land, I will kill them. I warned Clay before and honestly wished Alexei had killed him. Clay is a disgusting person. He should have been put down after putting his hands on Kara in the first place, I stated matter-of-factly. I wanted to remind them that we had gone easy on this before when we should have killed all 3 of them. I knew the council only supported Paxton because he had a large pack, too. He had a lot of money to throw around, and money spoke to this particular council. I am sure that was how Paxton got Michaela on his side so quickly. I am also sure that he had charmed her. I knew what she wanted, but she was barking up the wrong tree. I had already found my mate. I didn't need Michaela for anything, no matter how she had dreamed of becoming my Luna. A knock sounded on my door, and I buzzed it open. Alexei was standing there, and I heard feet pounding down the hallway toward my office. I knew we were about to see Robert right behind them. They entered my office and stared at the council members, waiting for them to speak. They didn't even sit down, and I couldn't blame them. If I suspected that Brenna was in trouble, we would have entered lockdown mode. We will be doing that anyway as soon as the council leaves. I advised them. The council came today because they received a call warning that the witch said Blackadder would be killed. I have already advised the council members that if anyone enters my pack land to cause harm, we will kill them. I am fine with that. Do they know who is behind the threat? Alexei asked. Clay is disgruntled and blaming for his mistakes on Zairs and Kara. He has a small group of rogues with him. I have to assume that he is planning this before he leaves the area, I responded. I didn't want to give out too much information. I don't trust the council members very much. But I refused to mention anything in front of council member Sharp. Once they leave here, we will get down to making our plans. I won't have them trying to prevent us from protecting our pack members from a group that has proven itself to be deadly. No matter what, I will protect my pack members, Luna, and family. I have sworn to do just that, and I take my job as Alpha seriously. I barely listened as the council advised Alexei and Robert what they had already told us. I was already making notes on what I wanted to do. They would attack today if they stayed on the same schedule as before. I already know that won't be happening. They don't have any intel for my pack, so they would be coming in blind. They will need another day or two before they attack here. Doing that will also keep us from suspecting anything. They have been attacking a pack every 5 days. It would lull the council into thinking they might have given up, as attacking us or the Black Moon pack proved too difficult. When did they attack? Did the time of the attacks differ? Daytime? Nighttime? Was the time frame about the same? Robert fired off question after question. These were all good questions and would help us be able to plan for the impending attack. All of the attacks happened just after dusk, right after it started to get dark, Councilman Floyd advised. Do you need us to send some of our men here to assist you? Councilman Sharp asked. His mocking smile made me want to end him right now in my office. Why would you assume we needed any help at all? The Blackadder pack is one of the strongest in the state. We do not need your help, Robert answered fiercely. Well, you already had an incident where you lost not just your own Luna but even a second Luna and their sister. I was not trying to upset you, but if you need help, we will gladly lend you a hand, Councilman Sharp replied resentfully. If you think Blackadder is an easy target, how about you test your theory? I can assure you that you will lose your men over it. Whoever comes over that wall in an effort to hurt anyone in this pack will meet their maker for attempting it. Don't disrespect Jackson inside his pack. I have seen men like you come and go. I can tell that you have no honor in you at all, Alexei rebuked. I am not scared of you, bloodsucker. You have no reason to speak here. This is pack business between the Blackadder pack and the council. I was offering Jackson some much-needed help because we all know what happened here just a short time ago, Councilman Sharp replied. If you knew what happened here, you would know that it would not have been successful if someone inside the pack hadn't planned and carried it out. Don't think I am concerned about retaliation from you or your men. I will protect my mate from anyone who would choose to do her harm. That includes your brat of a daughter, who already gave my mate a hard time of it right after she had a serious surgery. I didn't get to my current age by being ignorant of people's true natures. I think it is time for you to leave so we can discuss how to keep the pack members here safe. Clay wouldn't think he could get away with this if the council had done their job in the first place. You quite literally allowed Paxton and his men to get away with murder. But don't worry, we will clean up your mess for you, Alexei said dismissively. He was done with the conversation. Councilman Sharp looked apoplectic at what Alexei said to them. I had to force my face to remain neutral. We will take our leave now, Alpha Jackson, Councilman Floyd said while glancing at Alexei. He pulled Councilman Sharp out of his chair and headed for the door. We didn't come here to cause any trouble. We just wanted to warn you of the potential attack. We didn't want any of your pack members to get hurt. We treated this as a valid threat. I am sure you will deal with this properly. Let us know if you need any help. They quickly left the pack house like they expected Alexei to chase them away. It was now time for us to make our plans. Clay's POV things are not going as well as I thought with our plan. We have tried to enter Blackadder several times in the last few days without success. I even sent in 2 men on opposite ends of the perimeter wall. The patrols were on them quick, too quick for it to be just a coincidence. They knew we were rogues, but they didn't know why we were there. I couldn't wait to see the surprise on those Pisces faces when they realized that we were there to kill them. That was the only thing that was making me happy these days. My men are getting more concerned with each passing day. They seemed to know that we were biting off more than we could chew on this. It didn't help matters when Tom blurted out, "When were you going to tell us about the vampires, Clay?" It was clear that he already knew I was aware of them. I frowned as I wondered how he knew. He turned his phone around towards us, answering the question. The screen showed a picture of the day Alexei attacked me for having hurt Kara. I was annoyed because it made me look bad in front of my men. I didn't need to get any closer to see it. I knew how bad it looked. I hated that my men had come closer to look at the picture. I was lying on the ground, bleeding. Alexei was standing over me. Annoyed off and ready to kill me if I got up. I looked like a beaten man. What was Tom trying to do? I needed their help in this. He intended to show them the dangers of going after Kara and her mother. I was going to tell you closer to time, I replied. How did you get that photo? It was in the council email. They spoke about your former alpha and what you 3 did. It doesn't fit the narrative you gave us. It is the exact opposite, Tom replied in a critical tone. Yes, they have vampires there, but we will be in and out quickly. They won't catch us, believe me, I tried to spin this back in my favor. They won't catch us? Are you serious, Clay? A vampire is fast, faster than we are in our wolf form. This job is different, Clay. We need to rethink this. We have no map or information on where the witches might be inside the pack. I can't see this plan working out for us. I think the best idea is for us to give up. Blackadder is much stronger than the other packs we've attacked. You already picked out who you wanted to get back at, and we already made that happen. I feel like this might end up going very badly for us. We need to quit while we are ahead. I don't want to take a chance attacking such a strong pack, Paul suggested. I can't believe you are backing out on me like this. What about all the plans we made? This is one quick in and out. Besides, we have the element of surprise on our side. I heard that the witch created a home in the woods. I suspect it is the larger area of woods. I know Kara's scent. I can track her. All I need from you is to finish making the silver bullets. That should slow down anyone who comes after us. Just coat them in wolfsbane. We need to slow them down so we can escape. We can even shoot the witches to keep them from attacking us back. We will then set them on fire. That should be the end of them, I announced. I was trying to calm them down by telling them how easy the job would be. I wanted them to consider that this might be our quickest job yet. I knew very well just how dangerous this was going to be. I knew that who had been spouting off would probably be clowning again. I was hoping to run into him. I needed to deal with him as well. I wanted to end both him and Alexei. They had both disrespected me and deserved what was coming. I just hadn't mentioned it to my men, as they would not go along with it. It was enough that we were after the witches without adding a gamma and a vampire into the mix. Neither of the men would be easy to take out, so we needed the bullets. They would kill Robert, but they would only slow Alexei down. Dealing with easier targets who weren't aware we were coming had made the other jobs easier. But the Blackadder pack wasn't an easy target. We might very well lose a member of our group, I acknowledge that. But if I can punish the 4 I was after, I would be pleased with the outcome. I don't take disrespect lightly, even from my own family. Dad better be glad he showed up with several warriors or I would have attacked him. He saw me, but I doubt that he would want his youngest son to be hurt or killed. I hope he kept his mouth shut, or I might need to pay another visit to the Moon Harvest Pack. We managed to get difficult plans done before. We will be successful this time as well. We don't have anything to worry about. If things start to go badly, we will leave. I won't risk any of us getting hurt on this job. But Sayers caused me to lose everything. I can't just let her get away with it. Killing Kara is a bonus, as it would punish not just her but Paxton, too. We have to work together for this to work. I need your help, guys. I picked you up when you were at your lowest point, and I can't do this alone, I announced to the group. I deliberately used a defeated tone. I wanted them to feel bad for me. They have to help, for my plan to work. I couldn't do this alone. It would be a death sentence if I tried. We had come this far. Tomorrow was the day that I had planned to carry this out. I have to press on. I can't leave matters unresolved. I won't. They deserve to suffer for what they did. We might have kidnapped them, but we offered them the opportunity to be our chosen mates. They were looking at this all wrong. I needed to have a mate as strong as Luna was. I have watched her numerous times before. She was an excellent fighter. Her sister, Brenna, got noticed more, but Luna was not inferior to her. Luna had alpha blood in her. She would have provided me with the strongest pups. It had been the perfect setup. Occasionally, going out to the new home we built to sleep with Luna, yet I still got to have fun in the pack and while visiting other packs. It wouldn't have mattered that I was marked. Some she-wolves prefer it that way. They were looking to burn off some energy, not get into a relationship. It was the perfect plan, yet Zairs destroyed it. She couldn't keep her nose out of our business. I remember seeing Luna's mate, Kevin, standing there when we got to the gate. I knew things were about to go badly. I immediately mind-linked one of the cell guards to take them to my home. I wasn't going to give them up so easily. When the guard told me they were already gone, I wanted to kill someone all that work for nothing. I knew I should have insisted on keeping Luna with me for the night. I would have made sure that she would have been impregnated that night. Just thinking about how they destroyed everything was making me furious. We have not had more difficult plans before, Clay, Tom scoffed. I said that we managed to get difficult plans done, Tom. Not more difficult than this, like killing the Luna for instance. That was a tough one, yet we were successful. Yes, it will be hard, but I need to finish this before we leave. I don't want them to go on having a great life, not when they tore mine apart. The Black Adder will always be a strong pack. They will only become stronger in the future. I want to get this done and over with. That way, I can rest knowing that the ones who tried to ruin me were ruined themselves. I know that this plan is dangerous. I don't want to lose any of you. We are in this together, brothers forged in the fire that tried to destroy us. Yet we live on, with the wrongdoers now punished, I answered him. I was speaking passionately about what bonded us together. I need him in our group. He was a strong fighter if I am being honest, he was the most capable in the group, besides me. I needed him to be in this with us. We would never have been successful if he had not come with us. I knew how much he respected honor and loyalty. I was trying to get him to agree by using those words. He is the only one who has never mentioned why he was in our group. He didn't even have us go into the pack when he returned to the White Plains pack for revenge. I just don't think that it is fair for you to use us as a means to keep killing people. We each had an agenda. We each punished the ones who caused us to be banished. We are done. You are still angry but could have picked this job to get revenge instead of going after the Alpha of Moon Harvest. We almost got caught on that last one. Do you honestly think that your father didn't advise the council who was behind the attack? Things are falling apart now. I think it would be best to leave and start the security company we discussed. You can't promise us that none of us will be killed if we try to attempt this. I believe this job is way too risky for us to do tomorrow, Tom replied. I can see the other men leaning towards agreeing with him. He is ruining this whole thing for me. Why can't he mind his own business? He needs to keep his mouth shut. I promise you all that I wouldn't ask you to do anything I was unwilling to do myself. I know this is a lot to ask. I promise I won't take a salary for the first 2 months of our business. You 4 can divide the money we make up 4 ways instead of 5. I know you think I am not thinking this through, but I am. You don't know what I had to deal with because of them. They ruined my life. Is it wrong that I want them to suffer too? I won't ask you guys to do anything else. This is my last request. I will be done with everyone who has wronged me after this. You don't understand what I have gone through. I am asking for your help, I pleaded. I knew I couldn't do this without them. 4 months. We want 4 months of us getting to split your salary, Paul demanded. Done, I replied with a smile. I knew they would fall in line. I was willing to go as high as 6 months. I can't wait for tomorrow. Alexei's POV Kara is beautiful. I could see her baby bump as she slid into the shower ahead of me. I can't stop myself from wrapping my arms around her waist after I entered and lacing my fingers together in front of our baby. I am so excited about our baby, but it makes me even more fearful about losing her. Correction, losing them. That is coming for her. I can feel it. Robert was just as anxious about Sayers. Sayers and Kara still had some power, just not as much as before. I enjoyed starting our days like this. I quickly turned Kara around and leaned down to capture her lips with mine. I groaned as I felt her open her mouth to grant me access. Kara was just as excited as I was by the kiss. She wrapped her arms around my neck and leaned closer to me. It made me almost feverish with want for my mate. I had to force myself to calm down. The doctor said we could have X, but that I needed to not be quite so vigorous for at least the next month. Kara had a minor incident where she was spotting yesterday after we made love. I had carried her straight to Dr. Gurin. We were both so worried that something was wrong with the baby. Kara had been so embarrassed when he had asked what had preceded the spotting, but I told him exactly what had happened. We were both happy that the baby was fine. I have to control myself in the future, which is more challenging than you would think. If I am being honest, it is almost impossible. I have waited for someone to love for centuries. To me, Kara is perfection. I didn't want anyone else, it is only Kara for me for the next several centuries until our time here in the world is up. I know that she was considering becoming a vampire. I didn't want her to feel like I was forcing her to do it. It is hard to become one of us. She can ask Cheryl about that. When I think of the pain that she will have to go through to do it, I don't want her to. I am so worried about her transitioning. There is a possibility of her death during her transition. If there is any way around it, I am fine with it. Witches live for hundreds of years, too. She finally admitted that she was worried that she would eventually get so old that I would no longer be interested in her. She is wrong, but I will go along with whatever she decides to do. It isn't just her appearance that draws me in. It is her kindness, love, and care for her family, how she refuses to accept defeat. There are so many reasons for me to love her. We quickly showered, and I helped her dry off. I am not putting her at risk for shower anymore. I don't want her or our baby to get hurt. You don't have to treat me like glass, Alexei. I won't break, Kara teases me as I lay her on our bed. I am aware of that, love. I can't help myself. I am glad that I got most of my work done yesterday. Today is just a half day, I teased her as I lay beside her. I enjoy all of our time together, but especially lying next to her in the bed. Anton has been busy asking Kara about how she wanted her home to be. He is designing it specifically for us. We have already cleared some trees so our home will be built near his. I am very excited knowing I will become neighbors with my brother and his family. The fact that our children will grow up together makes all of my dreams come true, and it is all because of the woman who is lying next to me. I had to calm myself down by reminding myself that Kara was still in the early stages of her pregnancy. I didn't want to cause her any more issues. She needed to be wet to be able to take me. I don't know how I will go slow with her when everything about her excites me. I am already aching, thinking of the pace I knew I would have to use today. Kara was breathless as she came down and said, "I want you inside me, Alexei." She wasn't going to have to ask me twice. I was all ready right now. I had been since the shower. I should have stayed in the shower to deal with this growing problem while Kara dried off. I will have to remember that for the next time. She held my jaw in her hands and kissed me back with fervor. I caught her moan of pleasure as I slid into her again. This pace had some merit to it. It brought you up to heights, much slower, but I would do anything to protect my mate and baby. I knew I was getting closer to going over. I was waiting for Kara to cross over first. She was enjoying this slower pace. She stared into my eyes, and her nails dug into my back. She was very close. I planned to chase after her when she caught her release, but she suddenly surprised me with a request. "Alexei, drink from me," Kara panted out. Her breathing was getting more rapid, and I knew that it would just be a matter of a minute. I couldn't resist her request. I had heard about drinking from your significant other before, although I had never done it personally. I usually don't drink from anyone, but Kara is my mate, and I would do anything for her. I allowed my fangs to descend and pierced her vein. I felt a wave of pleasure like I had never felt before rush over me. I could barely keep myself from releasing in her right now. Holding out was a painful pleasure that I had not experienced before. I felt my members swell up even more as Kara screamed my name out. She was still tearing through her as she continued to moan out my name. I released into her, amazed at the feeling of it. I swear that it has never been so intense for me ever before. I cried out as well, with rope after rope continuing to release into Kara. If she weren't already pregnant, I am sure she would have been after that. I fell over onto my side as I tried to catch my breath. It has never felt like that before, never. Anything having to do with Kara has always been better than with anyone else I slept with, hands down. I leaned over, licking her small wound clean, and tried to wrap my head around what had just happened. "Kara, how did you know about that?" I asked. "Girl talk," Kara replied with a smile. She was still shaking in the aftermath as she continued to come down. "Well, whoever you heard about it from, please thank them from me. I have never felt that hard of a release before. I can't wait to try it again." I nipped her mark before getting out of bed to get dressed. I wanted to start the day so I could return to Kara as quickly as possible. It was hard enough leaving her each day. Thankfully, she was safe with my brother and his wife. Otherwise, it would be even harder to leave. Kara hated to go. She would much rather stay home and spend time with her mother, but she seems to be enjoying her time with her sisters. Sasha and Emerson, as well as Tatiana, have been coming to visit. Dmitri wanted her to be safe while we worked, too. Everyone is aware that Anton's home is the safest place in the whole pack. The home he is making for us will also be incredibly safe for my family. Kara was dragging her feet, but she got dressed. Before she put her shirt on, I kissed her stomach and said, "Be good today, baby. Don't give your mother any problems." I do the same thing every day. I enjoy speaking to the baby. Kara likes it when I do it. I want my baby to know who I am when they finally arrive. I am so impatient to meet them already. I wish they could get here next week, but I knew we needed to build our home and ready their nursery, so many things to do before they arrive in a few months. Kara will be pregnant longer than Brenna will. Brenna was pregnant first, and with her and Jackson having the alpha gene, the baby should arrive around the 4.5-month mark. Kevin arrived yesterday with Luna, and they stayed at Anton and Cheryl's home. Kevin was in the house with them, which was also a comfort to me and Jackson. He was working on his laptop on pack matters that his betas, Liam and Dexter, couldn't complete. They were Jackson's younger brothers and could handle everything for a day or two. I hoped that it wouldn't take any longer than that. I was ready for this whole thing to be over with soon. I was going to kill Clay myself. He will never be a problem for us again. I dropped Kara off after she teleported us to Anton's home. I kissed her goodbye, which always tugged on my heart, leaving her. I wasn't taking a chance by walking through the woods. We all knew Clay and his men had been testing the perimeter lately. They managed to evade the patrols by leaving the same way they came. They never come here during the same time, and frankly, I am getting frustrated. I wanted this over and done with. I'm not particularly eager to wait for Clay to come here. Dmitri and Yvonne tease me all the time now. Usually, I tell everyone else to calm down or be patient. I can see now that saying that is annoying. I made a mental note not to do it anymore. We had a plan in place and were waiting for them to strike. I arrived at my office to see Dmitri and Yvonne standing just outside of their offices, waiting for me. Yvonne had the cordless phone in his hand and held it towards me the second I walked up. I didn't know who it was, but this had better be good. No one ever calls the landline. I didn't think it worked anymore, as we all used cell phones. I answered the phone, Alexei Fedorov, and waited for a response. A man's voice came through the phone. Clay plans to attack the Blackadder pack at 8 p.m. tonight. I just wanted to warn you. Pass it on to Alpha Jackson. Jackson's POV. Alexei had filled me in on the phone call that he received. It was a short conversation, but we all assumed that both warnings had come from Tom. He was the only member of their group that had not been guilty of an actual crime. I suspected that he was the one with the warnings. But when Alexei asked him if his name was Tom, there was a long pause before the line was dropped. The caller had not admitted or denied who they were. When we catch them in the act, we will figure it out. During the pause, Alexei told them that I would have a place for them in my pack if they were innocent of doing anything but getting justice. I had mentioned that yesterday when we were making plans. The stipulation was that Anton had to read them before I allowed them into the pack. We were not going to have another Adra situation occur ever again. The only other member of their group that it could be was George. He had committed a crime when he slept with his Luna. That type of crime was considered a crime against the alpha couple. We all suspected that she had lured him into doing it. As Luna, she could compel him to sleep with her. We doubt it happened the way it had been explained to the Alpha. There was evidence from other warriors who had experienced the same thing. I had heard about this particular Alpha couple. His Luna was his chosen mate. He later found his true mate, but his chosen mate refused to accept the rejection. The difference this time was that the Alpha almost wrecked his vehicle on the way back to his pack, so he was furious. So, he and his chosen are now stuck together in a loveless relationship, ruining the pack. I feel bad for their pack members because things are getting difficult there. The Alpha bought his true mate a home nearby. He goes there to spend time with her every day. He also has warriors who protect her after his chosen attempt to have the true mate killed a year ago. His Luna was doing the same as he was to cause him pain as well. I think his anger was more for the accident than for what George did. Even with a chosen mate, pain is attributed to betraying your mate. I heard the pain is enough to bring you to your knees, with some weaker pack members reporting that they have passed out from experiencing it. I hope I never feel that type of pain. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I knew I would never cheat on Brenna, nor would she cheat on me. It is only a matter of time before he loses his pack altogether, all because he fell for the wrong woman. I was again thankful for listening to my parents' warnings about waiting for my mate. I shudder to think about how terrible Lena would have been if I had slept with her before I found Brenna. It would have been a horrible experience for Brenna, and I am glad I waited. I had no interest in those who had thrown themselves at me. I just wanted my mate. The other two rogues, Paul and Henry, had committed severe crimes. I would not be accepting either of them in my pack, even if one of them had given us the heads up. We had a time frame to expect them, which we assumed was correct. Since it remains to be seen, we will be ready to go by 6, just in case. My warriors were already on high alert after Alexei came to tell me about the phone call. I had extra men watching the monitors for anything to trigger the alarms on the perimeter wall. Once the alarm triggers, we will all know that they are here. The caller gave Alexei one more tip before the line went dead. Clay will be looking for Kara's scent. That is how he plans to find her and her mother. But that information was enough for us to know how to deal with them. Alexei had already returned to their home and picked out a dirty t-shirt of Kara's to draw them in with her scent. I sat in my office with Alexei, Dmitri, Chase, and Robert. Blaine was at the front gate, sitting in the control room. He was helping watch the cameras with the gate guards. We believed they were coming today. Neither Alexei nor I thought the person who called was lying about what they said. The only thing we weren't sure about was the actual time they would arrive. If Clay suspected anyone of trying to betray him, he might have fed them false information, like telling us that they would be here at 8 tonight and then come before the time frame. I didn't think that the informant was trying to lie to us, but Clay certainly would. I didn't want to tip our hand, but I did want to infuriate Clay. That is why we gave the picture to council member Floyd and asked that they run that story. I knew Clay, well, I knew men like Clay. Men who liked to be aggressive with the she-wolves. He would never do the same with a male who was just as strong as him. I heard what he had done, and it wasn't an isolated incident. Brenna told me stories of what he did to a few she-wolves in the Kamaria pack. I already didn't like him for having hurt Kara like he did. I believe what Kara and Brenna had told me about him. I am sure that if Brenna hadn't stepped in, Clay would have raped Kara the day they ran away. I had wanted Alexei to kill Clay when they came here to get Brenna and her sisters back. The issue was with the council involved without proof they were willing to accept. There was no way that we could charge him. It was his word against Kara's. She was a witch, and the council would never side with her. Brenna was not there for the start of what happened. Clay said she had come onto him before suddenly changing her mind. I don't know what Paxton was thinking. Clay was never qualified to be the beta for any pack. He is a disgusting person, and we will be ending him today. I didn't call the council and tell them Clay and his men were coming here. There was no need to. I already told them yesterday that we would be dealing with him if Clay returned. He was clearly coming here with the intention of killing my pack members. It didn't matter if they were sworn in or not. They were mine to protect, and I will protect them. According to Blaine, no alarms have been tripped yet. We had trimmed off all the limbs near the wall about a month ago. Some of the branches were tripping the alarms constantly. I didn't want a threat to get in here, with the men not checking every alarm. Once you get a false alarm 100 times, you assume they're all false alarms. I'm glad this worked out in our favor. The alarms have been silent ever since. The only exceptions were when Clay and his men tried to enter our pack. We're ready for them the moment an alarm sounds, Chase advised. I wish they would come now so we can get this over with. I want to kill that. He is the whole reason this even happened. It was his idea to kill Beta James in the first place. All because he wanted to take over as Beta. Clay never deserved it in the first place. I would volunteer to kill him, but I understand why Alexei wants to. Clay is after his mate, I don't blame him for wanting to end him. Alexei, promise me that you will make sure that miserable excuse of a wolf is dealt with as harshly as you can. Don't worry about the rest of them. We will deal with his friends while you deal with Clay, Robert ground out. Robert was furious about the threat against his mate. With her being pregnant, he is even more protective of her. We all felt the same way about this matter. Any one of us would be glad to end Clay. It wasn't just the fact that he tried to kill his alpha and his brother. It was because he didn't value life. He felt he deserved so much, but others were expendable in his eyes. The way he treated she-wolves was just disgusting. His inflated opinion of himself was utterly unwarranted. We would ensure that any other pack who thought about attacking us got the same message. We will not spare you if you come here to hurt any of our pack members. My thoughts ran back to Paxton and Rex. I still wanted to deal with them but decided to take my anger out on Clay and his group of wolves. If they enter my pack, I will deal with all of them. Except for Tom, I will allow him to stay if he wants to live here. I can understand why he did what he did. He was a good man who had lost his only family member because 2 ranked wolves broke the law. Tom deserved a second chance, as far as I was concerned. I planned on giving it to him. My eyes narrowed as I reminded myself to check with the pack lawyer to see if the official complaint was ready to be filed. In it, I had cited what Michaela had done. Dropping the ball on not just one matter but 3 that I knew about. 2 of them were a matter of record. She had investigated the issues involving not just George but also Tom's sister. The 3rd was how she managed the incident here with Brenna and her sisters. She shouldn't have the job her father had arranged for her. I was also filing another one against her father. I don't believe he needs to be on the council any longer. I can so no good that he has done. I won't stop until they are both off the council. We are ready to go when they get here, Jackson. I believe they will arrive at the time he gave us. It will be dark by then and a better time to attack unnoticed. I know you hoped the article the council posted would stop them from coming here. The only good it did was to make one of them realize who he was following. I think it is time for us to go to my brother's home and fill everyone in on the fact that the threat is arriving today, Alexei suggested. I disagree. I don't want Sayers being under that kind of stress, Robert interjected. Tatiana is at Anton and Cheryl's, too. I don't want her involved in this either, as she is pregnant. I know she would be very happy to help us track them when they realize this is a trap and try to leave, Dmitri replied. I think it would be best for us to go and discuss it with everyone at Anton and Cheryl's home. We need to nail this plan down and make sure that no one who came here to do harm escapes, I stated as I stood up and headed to the door. We need to ensure Clay doesn't get to leave here and try anything like this again. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.